Hi beautiful people, welcome back. Hope everybody is doing fantastic wherever you are in this world. Happy Tuesday. Hope everybody is having a great week so far. Disclaimer, please do not take what I say as fact. Feel free to do your own research and come to your own conclusion. Now, so much has been going on the past day. It's been like a whirlwind in regard to Katie Joy. About 3 days ago, Katie Joy actually posted how she settled with Todd Chrisley. And I know a lot of people were disappointed, but you know what? He's got to do what he's got to do for his own best interest. And let's face it, he's got so much going on and bigger fish to fry. So without a crystal ball states, my company and I have reached a settlement in our lawsuits with Todd Chrisley, settling all parties' claims. No liability was admitted by either side or adjudicated. As a result of that settlement, I will not be speaking publicly about Mr. Chrisley, his companies, or his family. Mr. Chrisley has agreed to the same terms with regard to me, my company, and my family. So Todd Chrisley actually did come out with a statement, and he says, I've been getting questions about my litigation with Katie Joy, and all I'll say is that we've reached a settlement that I am extremely, in all upper caps, happy with. As part of that, neither of us will be publicly discussing the other or the other's family going forward. Not at all. I'm glad to be able to put this out of my mind for good and won't be discussing the matter further. Now, like I said, people were very disappointed that Todd Chrisley had settled with KJ, but come on, you guys, this man is facing up to 30 years in prison. He's seeking a new trial for all that's going on with him. And honestly speaking, in my opinion, they got what they wanted. And that is for Katie Joy to stop talking shit about them. How long will that last for Katie Joy? For her to keep her mouth shut about them? And I do not see what she got out of the settlement, because the only reason he spoke about her, in my opinion, was because she was always talking shit about them and being petty as hell. So that is done and dusted. Now we actually move on to the new filings against Katie Joy from 7M, to which these filings are a notice of motion and motion for default judgment. And let me just say this before I go any further. I will leave a link for UNCIVIL Law. Did go over all these filings, did a fantastic job. So if you want to know exactly what is going on with this, I will leave that link to UNCIVIL down in the description box. And plaintiff's memorandum of law in support of motion for default judgment. To my understanding, meaning that Katie Joy was not being cooperative and not complying and failed to respond at the appropriate times. To which Katie Joy obviously was all up in arms because people were reporting this, and to which she responds and says, I see everyone is talking about my lawsuits with 7M. 7M has not complied with our discovery request. We have filed a motion to compel discovery. In effort to get out of complying with our discovery demands, they are now trying to claim we missed deadlines when we did not. They missed the deadline for discovery and have been avoiding all attempts to send over legally required discovery to us. In an attempt to avoid discovery demands, they are now seeking a default judgment. We missed no deadline, period. This is a desperate and amateur move in an attempt to not legally comply with discovery request in the case. They have not granted an extension for deadlines, an injunction, nor sent any discovery to us despite missing the deadline a month ago. Now, when she says they missed the deadline a month ago, I don't know if it's me, I don't know the law, but it just seems quite false because she seems to have missed the deadline. So basically, Katie Joy did not give a response after her motion to dismiss was denied. So obviously, she did miss a deadline, in my opinion. I'm no lawyer. I'm not stating that I am a lawyer. I'm just going according to what I'm thinking could be going on. She goes on to say, without discovery from my company, they know they cannot litigate this case. They have been trying every possible method to not comply with discovery demands. We requested they file a motion to dismiss due to their own failure to comply. We have engaged with them the entire time. Last week, a report was released by The Sun indicating an ongoing IRS investigation against Robertson and his church. The Sun reported the investigation was looking into income tax evasion. Our discovery is seeking his tax records as part of the litigation. Now, what has all this got to do with you, Katie Joy? It's got bullshit to do with you. You need to focus on what's important to you. You need to be, as we say, up your pause. But unfortunately, you're not ahead of the game. You're not focusing on what's important. You're focusing on irrelevant stuff, and you need to get all your ducks in a row. Then she says, we have filed a letter to our answer to Robert Shin's attorney and the court today. The court never gave us a deadline to file. Shouldn't her attorney know all the stuff? Why is she waiting for the court, which tells me that, again, is Katie Joy not representing herself? She's waiting for the court to give her a deadline. So if the court didn't give her a deadline, she wasn't going to respond. To which tells me she didn't respond because the court didn't give it to her, whereas as her attorney, he should be knowing all this. So they are not communicating with each other. Just my opinion. Then she goes and she says, we have been in correspondence with Shin through his attorney since the beginning. We have requested they withdraw their motion or we will seek sanctions. This woman loves sanctions. She did it with salts. In her lawsuit, she was threatening sanctions. Then the letter says, please find filed and served alongside this letter a copy of the answer that we drafted and that I thought had been sent last month. What? So you're resending this letter and stating that you thought it had been sent last month? Bullshit. Given our typical manner of corresponding with you without delay, if you had wanted an answer and had not received it, I would have thought a simple email request would be sufficient. No, sir. No, sir. Now, realistically, if you're in this legal battle, okay, and they're not getting what they want, and they know if you don't give them what they want, they're in a better standing. So why would they be running after you for an answer from you when you not giving an answer will benefit them? Is it just me? Now I need to respond to the court to explain that your motion is moot or you can withdraw it. Whatever the case, you have your answer. You know my client's position on the issues and default is not appropriate. Please advise whether we should spend our resources unnecessarily in responding to a moot motion for which there was no basis in the first place. If you choose not to withdraw your motion, I will discuss with Ms. Paulson whether she would like to seek her cost or other appropriate sanctions for misuse of resources and abuse of the litigation process. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Graham Martin. Then Katie Joy says, additionally, we will be responding to all your motions, filing a motion to compel discovery, and will seek attorney's fees for the abuse of the legal system. Thank you. Look who's talking about abuse of the legal system. And then she says, without a crystal ball, missed no deadline for discovery. We served Robert Shin's attorney and the court on August 5th. What did you serve them? Shin has not ever sought discovery from us because he missed the deadline. He's been fighting providing us discovery. Shin, through his lawyers, has been trying every possible angle to avoid providing us with the documents we are seeking for discovery. They filed 3 motions in August, one for a protective order, which we did not agree to. Now they want a default judgment to again avoid discovery. The court never gave a deadline to us for our answer, as Minnesota courts are very backed up. But shouldn't your attorney know all these deadlines, Katie Joy? Why are you blaming the courts? That's what you have an attorney for. We filed our answer today in a letter to the attorney demanding they withdraw their moot motion. Don't be fooled. We met our obligations. Obviously, you didn't, Katie Joy. They don't want to give us discovery, period. We told Robert Shin through attorneys that if he doesn't want to participate in discovery, he can withdraw his lawsuit. Instead, he filed a baseless motion for default judgment when we've been in communication with them the entire time. But Katie Joy, you've done this with so many other cases. Example, Todd Chrisley. Remember, they had to come before the judge and the judge had to tell you that you had to comply with Todd Chrisley. So clearly you have a reputation of not complying, in my opinion. Without a crystal ball, we'll be filing a motion to compel discovery and seeking sanctions and attorney's fees for the latest stunt with the court. We will not have further comments at this time. No, she does have further comments. Stop the narrative that I'm going to owe millions. 7M should comply with our discovery demands. They have yet to provide a single document, missing the discovery deadline and asking for a protection order after the deadline is not an excuse to not provide discovery, period. Then she still goes on and she says, the report from the Sun is not my reporting, not my sources, and yet the claims seem to be similar. It's almost like there is no lying occurring on my end. Katie Joy, you are the one that stated that Robertson is human trafficking, that this is a cult, that they are criminals, that Robertson runs people off the road with his car. You were the one that stated all this. 6 dancers and 3 long-time members have left Shekinah Church since May 2022. Without a crystal ball, played no role in any of these people leaving, and all their own stories to tell. And all have their own stories to tell. There are dozens of stories, all similar, by former members. Robertson's daughter Chloe announced her departure from the church in September. She and her husband both have publicly stated they left the church, and 7M have cut all business ties to the group. His own daughter. Now let's not forget, Katie Joy, this is the same daughter, Robertson's daughter, that you accused Robertson of committing immigration fraud for his daughter to marry this guy for a green card. Do you not remember that, Katie Joy? You were the one that stated that Robertson is committing immigration fraud. How about instead of looking at the lawsuit against me, you look at the countless outlets that have reported the same as me, and multiple major streaming platforms are working on documentaries about the situation. I am a scapegoat and deflection, so you don't look at the truth. So once again, you claim you're the scapegoat, like how you were the scapegoat during Tati Westbrook's lawsuits. You said you were the scapegoat for Jeffree Star. Remember that? You always seem to be the scapegoat, but you are the one that's always putting these outlandish statements out there. The Sun doesn't put those statements out there. Any other streaming platforms don't put that out there. You did. It's all well and good when you're sitting there and you say, oh, feeling kind of saucy or sassy, and then spilling all this about these people. And then you were the one that begged for this lawsuit. Let's not forget, Katie Joy. What did you say? If they sue me, everything will come out. And now look at where you are. Look how impulsive you get. All this is totally unnecessary. Going onto your social media and pleading your case to the court of public opinion, they cannot help you, Katie Joy. You should learn to ignore the outside noise. Communicate with your attorney. Make sure your ducks are in a row. Instead of focusing and being part and parcel of a group of bullies online. And I'm talking about how Katie Joy decided to, as after she says she's no more going to talk about the Mavon's case, she went and she divulged some personal information about Miss Letitia, to the point, in my opinion, of bullying Miss Letitia. She would rather focus on something that's got fuck all to do with her, instead of focusing on her own personal business. She'd rather sit there and go dig into other people's personal business instead of focusing on her own personal business. And this is where it gets her, in my opinion. Your own attorney, Katie Joy, put in a letter that he thought that the answer was drafted and sent last month. Why aren't you on top of your attorney? You're on top of everything else, on top of other people's personal business, but not your own. How does that make sense? You need to learn to focus on your own shit. You want to come and attack people on social media. You're supposed to be attacking your attorney. Why isn't your attorney getting all the shit right? But I digress. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Have a fantastic rest of your day, fantastic rest of your week. please be safe out there. Be kind to one another, and don't forget, make good memories. Bye, guys.